to video number 1 for the 7th module of assessment for the UOIT AEDT program's Adult Learning in a Digital Context course. In this video, we will examine the items you see before you on the screen. So, before we begin, take a few moments, pause the video, and consider the following questions. So what does authenticity have to do with assessment? Let's take a look at the definition. In Shakespeare's Hamlet, even Polonius spoke of authenticity, but what does this have to do with assessment? Our friend Miriam defines the authentic as the following: real or genuine, true and accurate. How does this connect to concepts of reliability or validity? Does authentic assessment just refer to an assessment that follows the guiding principles of assessment? Assessment refers to gathering evidence of student learning for the overarching and primary purpose of improving student learning, and being authentic refers to being genuine, true, or accurate. Does authentic assessment then refer to assessments that are genuine, true, and accurate? Pause for a moment and read this excerpt from one of our readings. What does Grant Wiggins, the one half of Wiggins and McTighe of Backwards Design, mean when he says that traditional assessment relies on indirect or proxy items in comparison to authentic assessment? Please pause to read this extensive description from this week's reading. In this interview for EdUtopia, Wiggins describes the intention behind authentic assessment. Another resource for this week is from John Mueller. His Assessment Toolbox website provides another way to look at authentic assessment. He contrasts traditional assessment with authentic assessment. Please pause and view this slide. Why and how do these attributes reflect traditional or authentic assessment? He also notes, quite wisely, that traditional and authentic tasks could vary considerably, and if we imagine these components more like a continuum rather than an either-or scenario, we can see how and where they might vary. Scott Paris and Linda Ayers suggest that it is challenging to define authentic assessment, and they also acknowledge that authentic assessment may or may not mean the same thing within different contexts. In their review of the literature, Aitken and Pungur differentiated traditional assessment from authentic assessment. Pause and read their summary of traditional assessment, and note the word perceived. Now pause and read how they summarized authentic assessment. Lastly, they describe tasks that are authentic as ones that help students rehearse for real life. Real life is often complex and not neat and tidy like a multiple choice test. But is there a place for traditional assessment? Consider Wiggins' comments. Please pause and read. Do you agree? Why or why not? When might unauthentic and non-real-world assessment be more appropriate? So, we considered several perspectives on authentic assessment. At the beginning of this video, you were asked to consider how the definitions are similar and/or different. What did you come up with? How would you summarize what authentic assessment is or isn't? Why? This is what this video addressed. And the next video will examine some examples of authentic assessment. Thanks for watching.